Put up or shut up. Have you heard that expression before? That is typically something, maybe you're playing basketball or you're sitting there and you're talking about being the best at something or better than somebody else. And so then a person says, put up or shut up. And what they mean is, put your money where your mouth is, which is another one, and interesting on a channel about sex, intimacy, and relationships. But what we're talking about here, though, is the importance of actually backing things up with something like money. Now, it's an easy thing to claim, I'm the world's greatest. And frankly, every boy and girl have always dreamed of being the world's greatest at something, whatever it might have been. I mean, I personally, as a kid, loved dinosaurs. And then later I was into chemistry. And I then got into basketball and running and different kinds of sports. And of course, it was always fueled by the dream of being the world's greatest. So here I am, and I am the world's greatest sex coach. Now, how does one even begin to back that up? Now, UFC, love fighting, quite easy. It's like, well, it's the guy that's wearing the belt. You go into a ring, you fight it out, there you go. You have the world's greatest fighter. Now, it's also interesting because love Chael Sonnen, shout out. He talks a lot about guys that think, hey, it's all about how well do I fight in the ring. I'm not going to sit there and talk. I'm not going to really market myself. I'll let my fists do the talking. He talks about this a lot and saying that, well, some of the greatest stars might not be actually the greatest fighters, but it's those that can promote themselves, those that can sell out arenas, because it is, after all, a business. So when you think about what would make the world's greatest sex coach, since at this day and age we don't have a ring where people can go in and be the best ultimate champion, lets you be creative on what that F stands for because it's not fighting, then you have to start to think, well, how do we judge it? Well, would it maybe then be, and I'm just throwing it out here, let me know in the comments what you think, would it be how much money's been invested? Now, of course, we can all say, no, it's really like the results that your clients have, which I personally think is a much better way than what you'll hear some people saying. They kind of talk poetically about all of the type of orgasms that they've had and apparently how great they are as a pussy. You see this a lot like in the tantric circles. A lot of the so-called tantrikas will go on and on about, like the descriptions and like what they get to experience. And I always go, that's great, but where's your track record helping other people to actually have that? So that would be one way to do it. But I still think, though, there is something to what Chael's talking about, this concept of where money is. So let me just say, I have had CEOs that have taken their money that has been funding their company, a lot of reputation on the line. We're talking millions of dollars. And not just once, but twice. They have, out of all those that have the fancy marketing, chosen myself, as well as my colleague Dr. Saida Desolé, to craft their methods. Now, we of course look at this and go, okay, well, why do we go ahead and do this? Why is it that maybe Dr. Saida and myself would actually fund someone's dream or be funded to help bring someone's dream forward? And I can tell you, well, it's because we don't really focus on marketing. This whole social media, talking on camera and looking nice and everything else is not something that we've ever really put our attention on, because frankly, as practitioners, we're too busy doing it, we're too busy teaching it, and we're too busy actually like allowing creativity to come to us and genuine like information that come from life experience, that come from teaching experience, and that actually delivers impact time and time again. And so it becomes quite clear when you spend time with anybody, are they full of it or not? Which is why then, put up or shut up. They then see that we are the best, and they take that reputational risk. It's a high stress job. to go ahead out there and fundraise. Fundraising is, like when you have the seeding, the venture capitalists, everything, it's shark world. And yet they have consistently chosen us. Now, another way to look at this as well is to do some measurable results. And I'm not talking just about kind of like your anecdotal statistics of, not even statistics, but just like some stories of, well, this little Johnny over here, maybe not little, big Johnny now is grown up and he testifies that how amazing this is, or this person does that and they've really changed things for me. And so you see a compelling video testimony. Now that is really powerful social proof. But again, could actually just be the person, you caught them at the right time, they did the thing, and then all of a sudden now they're excited and they talk and they credit you for it. Well, with one of those companies, we actually ended up getting not just funding, but we then did a clinical trial. And the results, the statistics that came back on it were mind-blowing. I mean, this in terms of sexual satisfaction, breaking away from sexual routine, the lowering of female sexual dysfunction, the power and frequency of orgasms for women, not just men, the lasting time of men, the sexual satisfaction before, during, and after communication, before, during, and after, all of these stats, everything that you could possibly imagine went fantastic. In fact, it blew people away. It was almost hard to believe. And frankly, it was just by watching what we were teaching one time, trying it out once, and it created that much change. It might let you know where the standard of sex is at nowadays, that you could have that much change with just seeing one time something that you didn't know. But again, we're working in a way that isn't about tips, tricks, and techniques. We are causing a systemic change in how people approach penetration, which, by the way, is one of the places that we're told that men, women, and frankly, it's not just the heteronormative people that are struggling with this, it's anybody involved in penetration, giver, receiver, and bridging that pleasure gap. So that's one way to look at it. We have now money invested. We have scientific results. But, there is one last thing that you could also see has really made a big difference. And have you ever heard the term, can't turn a hoe into a housewife? Well, I would say that maybe even though the words weren't honored of actually putting our names forward, and they started to promote themselves forward, makes me think, well, could it be that maybe I'm the greatest sex coach, or Dr. Saidi Desley and I are the best in our industry? Because you might not be able to turn a hoe into a housewife, but we did turn a CEO into a wannabe sex coach.